Question 5. Question 5, guys. There we go. Open up there 5 participants. First question there. We're going to work in the table. It's always 5.1 is the table. And again, very low hanging fruit here. Very easy marks. Open the TBL table in the design view and make the following changes. So it must be TB1 activity. I want to emphasize this again. If they ask you, I'm going to take over the screens quickly. If they ask you in the exams, to modify a table, please, let me just take over the screens quickly. Please make sure it's the correct one. Because what they do a lot of times, I just want to get into Vayan. What they do a lot of times is, these tables are all the same. They just create a separate one for the query. Okay? And that can be problematic, guys. That kan redelik groot probleme veroorsaak. Right. So please, right, the first question, they tell us there, change the field size of the full name to 25 pt. So we're going to open up this in the design view. And then we have, they don't have a full name here, they have a name here, so we assume it's name. And we're going to change that to 25. Okay, the field property, that's easy. Set the most appropriate data type for the age field. The age field should be number. Okay, just quickly, on the data type, remember that each set or each type of data has its own set of properties. So you'll find that the number field property looks completely different than the date field property. Okay, so just take note of that. This part here differs for each type. Okay, of data you select. So we said number there. Force the users to enter a value in the participant ID. So we must force a person to enter a value. We must make this a required field. Okay. They also in the exams talk about a compulsory field. So if they ask you to make sure that a person enters a value, you must have the required field yes. That is easy, guys. 1 to 3 easy marks. And what frustrates me is, come to the end of the exam, the learners, they don't do this. And I don't know why. Because it's straightforward, easy marks. The next question is, modify the properties of the activity type field so that it displays as shown in the example below. So what we have here is a drop-down list, guys, in 2 columns. Do you see that? 1 plastic, paper, plastic, bottle, container, wrapper. So here, what I will do, I will go to that property of active type, lookup tab. I will change it to a combo box. Row source type must be a value list. And the values entered into 2 columns. You see the bound column. Column count must be 2. Column count must be 2. We actually have to add the data there. So have a look here. You must actually add the data there. It's not added there. So you actually had to type in all of that. And I'm not going to type in all of that. Plastic, paper. We can type in a couple. Let's do 4. Plastic, yes. I'm just going to type in a couple there. Yeah, I'm joining the club there. Right, so there we have two columns there. There we have two columns. You can see that. It's not a question that what should have happened there. There should have been values already there. Either in a table, remember it can be based, this drop-down list can be based on a table or a query, or you can type it in. Important thing for me there is the column count, because there must be two columns if I select the drop-down there. Just a quick recap, guys. Just a quick recap. Here we must click on activity type on the lookup tab. Ne? The lookup tab. What is the difference between a combo box and a list box? A drop-down list. Ne? It has an arrow that you click on, the combo box, that gives you options. The list box displays all the options to you, and then you select one. Okay? In the table, it looks exactly the same. Where does it differ? In a form. Right. So that is important. This belangrijk, okay? The next one there is quite easy, marks. The next one, 5.1.5. Insert a validation rule for the join date field. To ensure only dates after the 1st of January 2023 are allowed. Display an appropriate validation message. And here I want to quickly stand still. I'm going to click here on join date, general. We're going to work here with the validation rule and the validation text. We must ensure that a person cannot enter a date before that date. Okay? The 1st of January 2023. So what we must have there is ensuring bigger than equal to, we must have the 2023/01/01. You'll see it'll put it in those hashtags. Okay? Let's say you couldn't do this. You couldn't do this. You struggle with the validation rule. You can still get a mark for the validation text. The thing for me here is that an appropriate validation message. We must be very careful for this. I want to show you this because this is extremely important. What's appropriate? Error. Huh? Must I just write in the error? No. The appropriate message must describe the validation rule. So you must say, only dates after 1 January 2023 allowed. That's a typo, 2023. Ne? Happy? That must describe the validation rule. Please, if you just write the error, you will most probably not get the mark. 5.1.6, create an input mask for the participant ID field in the following format. 2 compulsory capital letters followed by 3 digits or letters. And then they give us an example there. So what I want you to do on this question is an input mask. Participant ID, 2 compulsory capital letters. So it must be bigger than LL. That is 2 compulsory letters. Where do I get that? That is my cheat sheet. That is my cheat sheet. 2 compulsory capital letters followed by 3 digits or letters. For digital letters, we use capital A's. Okay? 2 compulsory capital letters followed by 3 digits or letters. Where do I get this, guys? I get it in my cheat sheet. There we go. A letter or digit entry required. It means you must enter that field. You can't leave it blank. That placeholder. My question that I have to you now, what is the difference between a validation rule and an input mask? What is the difference between a validation rule and an input mask? Can someone answer that to me? What I can, in plain English, as simple as it can, a validation rule sets parameters. It sets boundaries in terms of what values or data you can enter. So, for instance, it sets a parameter, it sets a range of data that will be accepted. Let's say between 5 and 10, for example. So that sets, you can only enter a value there from 5 to 10. It sets boundaries. An input mask forces you to enter data in a specific format. I want you to think in terms of a registration, a number plate for the cars. It is 3 compulsory letters. It cannot be digits. It cannot be 4 letters. It cannot be 2 letters. It can only be 3 letters followed by 3 numbers, not 4 numbers, not 2 numbers, 3 numbers followed by EC. It cannot change or alter. It is to ensure data that is captured accurately. Okay? Why do we have input masks? Why do we have validation rules? Paper 2 question is to ensure accurate data or to limit the mistakes that happens. Luister gou vir my. If I insert an input mask or a validation rule to capture valid data, will it ensure that there's no errors? Huh? If I put in there an input mask of 10 characters for a cell phone number, 0000 for a cell phone number, 10. Will it ensure that the cell phone number is correct? No. It will ensure the cell phone number is 10 characters long, but you can still type instead of a 1 or 2. Right, so it just limits the errors. Right, so that is the table. So I'm going to give it back to you. Quickly do that table for me. This is, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, it's 12 guaranteed marks for the exam. I do not want any learner not to be able to attempt this. So I want you to quickly try and do that for me. Question 5.1, then we will jump to 5.2, the form. Done. Junior, done. You are just 20 minutes. 20 minutes early. Right. Try to do 5.1. The first question there. Okay. No. 5.1. 5.1.1, change the field size for full name to 25. You must copy it to your click on enable editing. Guys, always in access, click on enable editing. I do not want empty spaces here. Do not want empty spaces here. Field size, guaranteed. Age, number, required field, lookup value, validation rule, input mask. I want to emphasize the following quickly. What I've seen lately in the exam papers, I've seen it in a couple of exam papers. The validation rule and input mask is asked in the form. Remember, the form displays one record at a time. Where do the form get its information from? From the table. So if you read a question in the exam that states on the form there's an input mask, you must make sure there's an input mask. Validation rule, you must make sure there's a validation rule. Make sure participant ID Okay, right. 5.1.1 is the full name to 25. The most appropriate data field for the age is number. Force the user to enter a value in the participant ID field. So that will be field properties of the ID for participant ID. And you'll say the required field. Required field, yes. Right. The next one is modify the properties of the activity type field. So go to activity type. You will select the field so that it displays as shown below. It's a drop down box. You click on lookup and you select, instead of text box, combo box. You select row source type value list. And then you will type in the values separated by a semicolon. Plastic, paper, bottles, container, sheet, wrappers. And then what you should do there is column count should be 2. Column count should be 2. Column count should be 2. Right. The next one there is insert a validation rule for the joint date field to ensure that only dates after the 1st of January 2023 are allowed. Display appropriate message. Done. Remember, it's table query if there is already one that must be based on it. Remember, guys, this is the tip that I can give you. If there's an error, take a screenshot, save it as error question 5.2 also in the exam. Basically, so that the marker can, because you will not be able to save that. Right, and then the last, okay, so I want to say that on 5.1.5, the validation rule for the date, bigger than, equal to, 2023/01/01. If that doesn't work, swap it around. 01/01/2023. It must put those hashtags there, okay? I see some of you, it should be the outline, date, a year, month, date. In some cases, it doesn't want to work correctly, swap it around. When you start with 01/01/2023. Okay? If it doesn't work. And the last one then is create an input mask for the participant ID in the following format. 2 compulsory letters. Important thing there, guys. 2 compulsory capital letters. In the exam, sometimes it comes one wrong. So we must have the bigger than sign. Yeah? Must have the bigger than sign. And then we must have 2 L's there, followed by 3 A's, capital A's. The capital A is an optional, is a required letter or number. Happy? So we'll have there the input mask, there's the cheat sheet, it's bigger than, greater than, LL, 2 letters required, followed by 3 A's, capitals, letter or digit entry required. Use your cheat sheet, guys. I do not want to see stuff in there. Like, for instance, these examples. You're going to get 0 marks if you add those examples there. The examples is just to show you it is 2 capital letters, followed by 3 digits or combination of digits and letters. Happy? Right, all of you with me? 5.2. Right. let's go on 5.2 quickly. The form. Huh? Right, the form. I want to say something on the form. It is difficult. It's sometimes very difficult to just work from the instructions. Sometimes in the question paper there's not even a picture. The picture is easier to do, but there are tricks here. And you must read very carefully in between the lines on what to do. Right, the basic of a form. The basic of a form is that on a form there are controls. And each control has its own set of properties, and that's what I can give you. The form has so many controls and properties that can change. We don't do all of it in class. There's not enough time. That's why I say to you, the key here is that each control on the form has its own set of properties. So if you must change that control, it will most probably right-click properties. I'll show you now. Right. So we'll see there's the picture of the form. Right, the first thing that I see there is in the design view. I can see there it has been renamed. It's not TBL Learners, it is now Green School Campaign 2025. Okay, what I want to say here is, it is a bit, try to replicate exactly what you see in the exam. If it is, try to be as accurate as possible from the picture, okay? Then what I also see is on the right hand side of this heading, there's a picture. So I'll click here on the form header, insert, and there's the picture already for us. If the picture is not there, it is in browse, it'll be in your exam folder. You'll click and drag it there. Interesting thing, in the question paper they tell you the size of the image 5 badge is 4x4. Now here's the key. Any object that you have here is a control. Each control has its own set of properties. Now they tell us the size of the image badge is 4x4. You will click on the picture. You will right click on the picture. You will go to properties, important, not form properties. You will click on properties. You see at the top selection type image. And now you can change it to 4x4. That is very important on the form, guys, because on a form has a lot of properties. You see now, if I click on the picture, it's image. If I click here on the heading, it's label. If I click here on person, there's a text box. So each object has its own set of properties. Important. Next one. Just want to check what they have there. They have participant ID, full name, plastic, that there. I'm going to open it up in open view to see if it's the same. It's Emily Davis, plastic, that and that. Right. Now, oh, there's one thing at the bottom there. Right. No seller. Insert a calculation in the form footer. So we're going to drag the form footer bigger. Okay. Going to drag the form footer bigger. Insert the calculation that will display the monthly salary for each participant, formatted to no decimal places. The formula is the monthly salary is the annual salary divided by 12 to get it into months. So here's important. I'm going to go to form design. On form design, guys, you're going to have controls there. Controls can also be, it also in some cases is a spanner with a drop down. These are all the controls that you can insert. I can't go through all of them. We're going to use AB, the text box. We're going to click and drag it here in the form footer. On the left hand side, you're going to have your label. Please, the label must be exactly the same. So we're going to type in there monthly. Yo, 1 o'clock. Right, salary, exactly spelled the same way. Ne? And then in the unbound, remember this is a label. Have a look here. It's AB that I inserted, the text box, but this left hand side one is the label. The right hand side one is the text box. we will always insert a function in the text box. So we're going to say here equal sign, annual salary divided by 12. And we need to format it to 2 with no decimal places. So we're going to right click on it. We're going to say decimal places 0. Okay. Format. Yeah, they don't have currency there. I'm going to just make it fixed. Fixed doesn't have currency there. I would have said currency. Right, that is 6 marks. I want to just check if we did everything. Right, we have inserted that title, we have inserted the badge, we have resized it, and then we have inserted that calculated field. Okay, that is 6 easy marks. Right, can I give you time to quickly do that for me? The form. Alright, so we're gonna, hey, where's my, there. You're gonna add the title there. You're going to have there your picture. Remember, each control has its own set of properties. You don't get more from it. Just follow those instructions. This is how the marks are allocated. That's why a form you must use the mark allocation to guide you in how many things you have to do. 6 things. Change the form name at the top, the title. Insert the picture, 3 by 3. Have a label, annual salary divided by 12, 6 marks. Okay? So, rather do a bit more than less. Insert that line. Okay? Rather do more than less. There was a question, even the top learners in the September Eastern Cape paper, there was a surname that was italics. Okay? Learners didn't get that wrong. Top learners. So guys, the form, let's look over on forms. Remember, we have properties of each control, but you also have form properties and you have different section properties. Okay. You have different section properties as well. I'm going to quickly show you here. So for me, the one that is the most important, because that one you most probably will work with, is the control properties. So the control is your text box, your label, the picture, all the objects that's on the form. But then you also have the following. You have a form property that will tell you their form and each section. If I click on the form header, you can see their section. Detail, section. Form, footer, section. Okay? Right. Done. I want to inform you also, you can insert input mask and validation rule here. I'm going to show you that now if you get to the next part. Remember guys, equal sign, annual salary, it must be spelled exactly the same as in the text box. So you have annual salary in square brackets divided by 12. And then after that, you're going to right click on that text box and you're going to go to properties and you're going to say there, fixed 0 decimals. Fixed 0 decimals. Fixed 0 decimals. Done. Right, I want to quickly show you this, guys. Okay, cool. I want to quickly show you this. I'm going to take over the screens quickly. I want to show you that important thing here. Right. There is an annual salary. Let's do this. There's no one that it will fit on actually, but let's say annual salary will be a right one. If we need to insert an input mask or validation rule on a field here, you will not select the labels. It's always going to be the text boxes. So you're going to right click here, you're going to go to properties. Here you'll find the data tab, and there you can insert input mask, default value, validation rule, validation text. Are you with me? Huh? Please, you must be careful where they ask it. If they ask it in the table, we must do it in the table. If we ask it in the form, we must do it in the form. Okay? But that is how we go to the actual place to insert the validation rule and the validation text, the input masks. Happy? Right, next question. Question 5.3, sorry. 5.3. Now, when we see this, I want to show it to you on the screen. When we see this, goodness. When we see this, what do we know? When we see this on the screen, what do we know? What do we know if we see this? Totals. Totals. Hello? What gives this away? And in the Eastern Cape exam paper, they have left out the headings on purpose because they didn't want you to see AVG of annual salary. They wanted you to figure it out by yourself. Right. Modify the query to display the correct fields as indicated in the screenshot. Here we use totals. What I want you to see, in the first column, each one of those items only appears once. Do you see that? Are you with me? Another thing that gives this away is there at the top, AVG of annual salary. Do you see that? So as soon as I see that, I must already know, right, this is total. Here, 2 columns. I've never seen in 3 columns. In one of the exams, I don't know if it's last year or year before that, they had 3 columns. It's grouped by a specific field, and then we have the AVG, the average of that field. So let's have a look there on what data do we have on 5.3. So what you see here, if I open it up, it is a couple of, there's plastic, there's plastic, there's plastic, you see that? And it appears only once. Then I know, in the design view, I must activate the totals command. If as soon as I click on totals, there is total group by. It should be grouped by activity types because we want all the plastics, all the paper, everything together as one. And then we need to determine the average. You'll see now I do have hashtags. Only thing that I must change is the property to ensure that it's only 2 decimal. places. So I'm going to right click on this, property, format, currency, 2 decimal places, and that's it. You will see it looks exactly the same like that. Please, we must get marks here. Just remember, you must ensure that the column or the field that it must be grouped on must be to the left. It must be the first column. Can only be 2. And then you can figure it out what they do. You can figure it out what they do. Not exactly here, but the one that was in the trial exam, you could have seen, oh, but blue is 1, 2, 3, 4. It appears 4 times they use counter. Okay? Happy? Right. The next question, 5.4. Queries not negotiable in terms of marks. Here they ask us to create a new query. Yes, guys, if you can't create a query, we must go back to grade 1. Create a new query called QRY. What do they call it? QRY 5_4. If you call it something else, good luck. I hope for your part the marker will mark that query. He will not miss it. So what we're going to do here is, I'm going to just close that query. We're going to do create. Always use the query wizard. You can use the form wizard, the report wizard as well for forms and report. In our case, it's the query wizard. Now, they tell us, display only the following fields. The full name, activity type, the full name. They tell us it must be based, sorry, I'm skipping. It must be based on TBL learners. TBL learners. It must include there the full name, activity type, join date, exit date. So that is quite easy, straightforward. Here we're going to call it exactly what they tell us in the exam paper. QRY 5_4. Now, important. Before I close it, before I say finish, I go back to the question paper. Because I want to see if all the fields that will be required is there. They tell us they include only learners who joined from 2020 to 2024. Sort the records in ascending order by activity type. We have the activity type and we have the date joined. Ne? Joined from that date to that date. Right. So now we're going to go to finish. And then in the design view, I'll always love to open up it like this and then I can see what's in front of me. In the design view, the easy mark that you should get is that mark. Sort the records in ascending order according to activity type. There's activity type, ascending order. You must get that mark. That is marks, 2 marks in a query that you should get. 1, the fields that must be displayed. The problem with the fields that must be displayed is you must not select it, deselect it. You must not deselect it before you finish your criteria. Because if you deselect it, you can't see if you actually entered the right criteria. So the marks that you must, after the query, at the very end, you must make sure the field that must be displayed and how it should be sorted. Question. Let's say for argument's sake, in this case, it should have be sorted according to the activity type and full name. What would you do? If they didn't ask it, I'm giving you the scenario. It should be sorted first according to activity type in ascending order, and it should be then sorted according to the first name in ascending order. Swap the columns around. So it must first, it's not part of the question, it's additional. It must first be sorted according to the activity type, then according to full name. These fields, the full name and activity type, I'll click here at the top. At the top, you'll see my arrow is a black arrow pointing down. I'll click on it. The whole column will be selected. I'll click and hold in the mouse button at the top. I'll move it to be the first one. So then, remember, it's sorted from left to right. Activity type first and then full name. Please, that order is important. Next thing they tell us, include only learners who joined from 2020 to 2024. In the open view, I must now see what they've entered here. You can see there are dates there. So it must be between those 2 years. You can't simply type in there 20 and 2024, guys, because they have included the months and the days there as well. Do you see that? So that you must be careful for. We're going to say here date joined, né? So we're going to have here, I'm going to just drag it bigger so you can see it. You can have here between 2020 /01/01 and 2020 2024, né? And 2024 /12/31. Hello? That is 5 marks. Mark allocation, query created, sorted, names displayed, and then they have their between. You can see mine is in the reverse order. I always open up the query and see how it displays here. And I use that format. Okay? Happy? Happy? Right, I'm going to do the last query, then I'm going to give it to you. Question 5.5. 5.5 query based on the learner table in the design view. Each participant will earn a bonus whenever the annual salary is more than 50,000. Insert a calculated field called condition to display the message yes if a participant qualifies for a bonus, otherwise the word no should appear. And here was issues here on this type of question. Here is the if. It's a basic if. If the person received more than 50,000 rand, if the annual salary is more than 50,000, he will receive a bonus. If not, it must be left empty. So what do we use here? And I don't know if it will work, so don't kill me. What I can suggest, if you get this question and it doesn't want to work, I will show you. Take a screenshot, snipping tool, save it in the exam folder. Okay? Let's try to do it. They tell us insert a calc condition. Right, so here what we're going to do is, we're going to type in the condition, followed by a colon. Then, luister gou hierso. If it's a calculated field, you can get 1 mark. I don't want to see EXPR1 here. Here, if you know nothing, you know the field's name must be that. You take any of these fields in square brackets. You write any of these fields in square brackets. So you write it like this. And this is not correct, the correct answer, but you will get then 1 mark. Are you following? You get 1 mark for that condition. In our case, we know what to do. So here we use an if. It's a function that I wanted to ask, but there was an issue with the Office's, Microsoft Office, I think it was 2016 or 2021, or there was an issue with this. So we'll check if it works. We'll have if. If is exactly the same as a normal if in Excel. If this is the condition, then if true, this is the output. If false, this is the output. So here we have, if what? If the annual salary, is bigger than 50,000. Wait, don't give me my error. Don't give me the error. Don't give me my error. Then if it is true, the word yes should appear. If the left cell should be left blank. Now I get this error. Okay. I'm going to put in there, I just want to put in there the correct closing tag there, or the closing bracket. Huh? On purpose. You see, that's why I didn't ask the if. Right, I'm not going to spend time here. Luister, ek gaan nou nie tyd mors hier nie. Luister, I'm not going to spend time here. So let's say in the exam it happens like this. This was the reason why I did not add this to the question paper, because it doesn't work on 2021, I think. Okay, if this happens, what do? We'll click on start, we'll type in snipping tool, and then you will cut out a beautiful piece for me here. You will cut out the piece and you will tell me, sir, this is an error. So new, you'll cut it out, you'll save this in your examination folder. So you'll save it in, I don't know where let's see, there's the folder. I'll just save it here in this folder as error question 5.5. That's why I don't want to ask the if, because it doesn't work on the newer versions of Office. I don't know, there was an issue with it. I did actually read up on this problem. And now the problem is, you can see you can't close it. Ne? Now you can remove it, because I already have the screenshot that I can mark from. Okay? Otherwise, if you remove it, you did it actually, but now there's nothing. I can't give you any more. But with the screenshot, I can go to that and I can say, okay, there was a mistake somewhere there. There was a mistake there. He saved it as a picture. There's the error. Oh, okay, there's the error. I can now actually mark from this. You might lose one mark. Oh, sorry, my computer is just very slow. You might lose one mark, but I can still give you adequate marks for the rest. Happy? Right. So that is the queries from my side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give the computer screens back. I want you to do the three queries. Queries, I do not want to open up a query anywhere of the grade 12s or the grade 11s that has nothing in there. This one doesn't work very well with the Office 2021, but you can take a screenshot and you can still get your marks. Right, 5.3. 5.3 is the totals, ne? Right, 5.3, you're going to close the form that you did, and you're going to open up that query 5_3. Yes? Oh, maak jy saak, okay? Right. Group by AVG, and then you'll go to the properties of that. You'll right click there on average salary. You'll right click on average salary. You'll say properties, and then you change the format to currency, two decimal places. Right. You run it and check if it works. Right, the next question is to create a new query. So you're going to go create query wizard. You say simple query. You'll say that it should be based on TBL learners. And then you'll add their full name, activity, join date, and exit date. Right. Next, you will call it there at the top, not TBL learner query. You'll call it QRY5_4. QRY 5_4. QRY, it stands for query 5_4. _4. Right, and then you'll see the data that you have in front of you. So then you will go to design view. Easy mark that you can get there is the ascending order according to activity type. That is the mark that you should get. Ascending order according to activity type. Make sure all the fields is displayed. You'll see show all the fields must be ticked. Right, and then you will see there joint from 2020 to 2024. So the joint date in the criteria you will have there between 2020/01/01 and 2024/12/31. I want to emphasize this. I do not want to see if there's dates. I do not want to see a single year there. Just a year. Bigger than 2020. Okay? I want to have there the month and the day included. How do we know that? Is we open up the query. If you open and you run the query, you can see there, oh, but there's a month as well here and a day as well here. Okay? In some cases, they might just give you the year, then you use only the year. But please, if it's a year, month, day, data type, then you can't simply say they're bigger than 2020. Right, so you'll have there between, it should give you the correct dates, and that is 5 marks. I do not want anything blank on queries. Junior, do you hear that? Queries, nothing blank. The only thing that must be left blank is your mind after the paper. It must be blank. Everything must be in the paper there, on your data. Right, 5_5 is that calculated field. And I want to tell you again, guys, the calculated field, the IF will not work on these PCs. We had an issue with that on 2021 Office. So you'll drag, what I will first do is I'll drag that column very wide. I will drag that column wide so I have enough space to do the whole calculation. I'll start there with the field's name is condition, colon, and then I must have there an IF. Guys, like I said, I don't think they'll use the IF because the IF, it can. I can't tell you it can't. But IF is the same as just a normal if in Excel. So I have the IF bracket, and then I will have the IF bracket, and then I will have the annual salary in square brackets. Right. If yes, and then semicolon again, no, blank space, 2 inverted commas. It must be left blank. So you have the inverted comma. And now you'll see, if you press enter, it will not work. What do? We take the snipping tool and we save this as error in our exam paper. Okay? Just try to do that, practice it somewhere, so you know how it works. Cut it out. And then you save it in your exam folder as error. You'll save it in your exam folder as error question 5.5. In your exam. Please, you must save it in your exam folder. Ne? Save it there in the data as error 5.5. Save. Right, happy? Save, guys. Can I go with question 6, 5.6? Yes? Not yet. Who can I assist quickly, guys? Is there a learner that are struggling that I can quickly help? Who? Okay, let's get home. Yeah, you see that will not work. What I will suggest is you make this. I'm going to quickly help. Yeah, you can't type here anything. Yeah. What I will do if I were you, this part then, everything is fine. You will get some marks. But what you should do then is you should take the snipping tool, cut it out, and then you must save it. File, save as. File, save as. And that you will do in your examination folder. Is there anyone that needs help? I'll save it there as error 5.5. Happy? Yeah? Okay. Right. Report, guys. Let's quickly take over the screens again. Open the report, RPT 5_6. There's the report. I'm just opening it up. There you can see. Not yet. There you can see now. The question there is, make the following modifications. So we must not recreate the report. We must change the existing report. Group the records by activity type. So have a look here. I will go to the design view. I'll click on group and sort. Must be activated. It's on the report design. Group and sort. I'll click on add group activity type. You'll see you'll have now an activity type header. You'll see there in the header I have, okay, the fields are not wide enough, but there's the activity types. It's now grouped according to all the aluminium, all the cardboard all together. Are you with me? Right. Now the next question here is, I want to do something else here as well, because I think it's important that we understand this. It's not asking the paper, but it's quite annoying that the activity type is there 5 million times for each one. Aluminium, 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 aluminium. It appears there each for each one. So if we want it only to be to appear once, to the design view, in the details section, that activity type, we will just move it into the activity type header. You will then see it will appear once, aluminium, all of these are aluminium. Cardboard, all of these are cardboard. E-waste, all of these are e-waste. Happy? It's not part of the question. I'm just showing you that if I move that text box or that field to the activity type header, it will only appear once per category. Right. Add a calculated field to show the total number of participants per activity type. Here they don't specify where. So add a calculated field to show the total number of participants per activity type. Per activity type. So we want to see, in essence, we want to see here, actually, how many people are underneath aluminium. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to see that. Okay? Right. So we're going to go to the design view. You can do it here in the activity type header because they did not specify where. But I would prefer you do it in the group footer, in the activity type footer. How do I get the footer there? I will click here on more options with a footer section. You'll see now you'll have activity type header and an activity type footer. And now you'll use AB, the same as in the form, and you'll just write there a label, total per activity, and then you'll write in the equal sign, count star. Count star is the easiest. Okay? You could have had the count gender or something else here, but count star is the easiest. There we go. And now you'll see there, total per activity is 25. Cardboard is 25. E-waste, also 21. Okay? I want to just emphasize something here. If you see these hash, it's not part of the question as well. What does this mean? The field is not wide enough. So what I have to do here is, on annual salary, I must actually just drag this one a bit bigger. Okay? Then you'll see there will be no hash signs. So if you see hashes here, it means that field is not wide enough in the design view. If I am unsure, let's run through this quickly. If I'm unsure where to do the calculated fields, where can I do the calculated fields? If you're unsure, you open up this report footer, and you do it there. Doesn't matter what the question states, you might lose one mark and get all the other marks. This is per category, né? So we want to count it per category. If I put this function here, it'll add up the total amount of people in the report footer. There's the total amount of people in the report footer. Okay? But if you're unsure, you'll do it in the report footer. Happy? Right, your own screen, there you go, the report. And then we're going to do HTML. Right, done. Let's see if we can do HTML. I will see where the time is at. I want us not to go after 3. We are here now for 6 hours. You guys must bring your sleeping bags so we can camp here. And I suppose guys on the report, they can also give you a screenshot on the report. Okay? A screenshot is a little bit more difficult to interpret. But you must look for grouping and you must look for calculated fields. That's what you should look for. And a bit of formatting. It can be that a field is bold or the background is blue or the font size is bigger. It can also be. Yes. Right, help guys. Just want to do HTML there on the we'll see guys, we're going to do question 6. We'll see if we can fit in question 7 maybe as a straight slash. But I don't want to, not going to spend. Right, happy? Me too. Goodness. Because where is this? Here. Happy guys? I want to quickly show you something here on a parameter value error. Guys, I want to quickly do question 6. I want to explain to you a very good error that we received now from some of the learners in the class. What happens if we get this? What does this mean? What does this mean? Oh yeah, you can't see. But look, open the eyes. What happens if, what is this if we get this? It was also in the trial exam. The spelling of the word, the field, ne? So you'll see here, that field is spelled completely wrong. It can only be spelled as one of those. Otherwise, if it's not spelled as that, you'll get a parameter value error. Last question, question 6. Yeah, easy marks here, guys. 6-1 tips. How does it work, guys? What do we do? On HTML, right. On HTML, we're going to have this 6_1 tips. We're going to open it up in, let me show you there. You're going to open it up in Notepad++. You're going to open it up in Google Chrome. Right. And now what we're going to do is we're going to run through it. Nice thing, the first thing, HTML, easy marks. Please do not remove the comments. These are comments. You cannot remove it. It marks extremely difficult if you remove the comments. If the question is asked 6.1.1, that is most probably where you have to insert it. Not on another place. Right, 6.1.1. Question is, insert an attribute to the body tag so that the web page color displays this color. So this color is a specific color, it's just a number now. Okay? So we're going to say here, inside BG, we're going to have BG color. Important thing, it's one word, equal sign, and then you're going to have that hash 3366FF there. Okay? I just want to put it in inverted commas, see if the color doesn't change. Okay, so that is the correct way. So we have the body BG color, one word, important. Remember, if the BG color, if the background color is two words, like light blue, there may not be a space in between the two. Okay, so let's say for argument's sake, the background color is light blue, it will not work. It will not work, there must be no space in between light and blue. Happy? Next question, 6.1.2. Add a horizontal line below the heading Green Computing in Schools. So there you can see, they give us where it should stretch to 80% of the width of the page. Gaan gou weer hierso lees. Hulle sê, add a horizontal line below the heading Green Computing in Schools to stretch to 80% of the width of the page. So here we're going to insert a HR, and we're going to have an attribute of width equal, and we're going to have the 80% slash bracket. So that is HR with 80%. Remember, if it's 80 without the percent, right, next one, 6.1.3. Insert the image 6green.png. What I like about this is they even give to you what it is that you have to insert. To appear as displayed under the heading Energy Saving. Add a feature to the image so that the screen readers can read the text Green Computing Practices aloud to assist the users with sign impairments. Set the width to 200 and the height to 200. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to 6.1.3. There's energy saving. There's the picture. I don't know, the TR I think might be on the wrong place. I'm going to just add it there. So here we're going to have, I'm going to add it here because there's the picture and there's the other picture. I just want to check. There you should insert it, sorry. I only saw it now, there. Going to add it there, so we're going to have the IMG SRC equal, and then we're going to check what the picture's name is. The picture's name is 6 green. Is there 6 green? There's a 2 green. We're going to insert the 2 green there. There's no 6 green there. Error, ne? So let's take 2 green. Let's see what picture it actually is. Let's see in the question paper what picture it is. Oh, there is nothing there. It's complete. Okay. No. I'm not sure which picture they are referring to. So I'm going to just insert 2. Just going to insert there 2 green. So I'm going to go there to 2 green. I check the file extension. That's why I'm here. I want to check the file extension. The file extension is JPG, ne? So we're going to have the IMG SRC, we're going to have the 2 green dot JPG in inverted commas, ne? And they also tell us there, add a feature, alt, because alt feature will add a read out aloud. So we're going to type in there Green Computing Practices. Okay, must be alt, and then what does this mean, guys? This is quite important. This is quite important for me that you understand what the alt does. The alt basically does the following. It reads out if the picture does not display correctly. That's first thing. Those words will appear. So let's say this picture was spelled incorrectly, or that picture was not there. Those words that is in alt will appear there. But for a person that is blind, that can't see, the screen reader reads out that text. Okay? And then set the width and the height to 200. What I like to do here, I can see here, here's the width and the height already inserted for me. So I don't even need to retype it. I will just add those attributes by pasting it there. Interesting thing for me. Let's see. There we go. Exactly the same. Right, so that is 6.1.3. Ensure that the link to greencomputingfoundation.org will work if a user clicks on the click here text. So let us see there on 6.1.4. So what they want is if we click on that Green Computing Foundation, it should go to that email address, to that web address. What shorts here? href. href. And then it should work if you click on it. Okay? That is 6.1 done. And here on 6.2, there's a multi-level list. So I'm going to open it up with Notepad++ and Google Chrome. Right. What we see here is open the incomplete, complete the website to look like the example below. So they give us this website, this example. We know it's a multiple level list. We have A, B, C, D, I, E, F, G. Right. It's 5 marks. So there are 5 things we have to do. So we have the type A. So that's A, B, C, D. But when we get to this part here of disposal, we must add something here as well. And here it's trial and error for me. I'm going to add a closing OL here. I'm not sure if this one is the correct one. Let's see. Yes, ek is nou moeg. Ek is nou moeg vir julle. Ja, ek hoop so. Let's just see, guys. Sorry, ek gaan nou vir julle kan sê, gee my net 'n gap gou. Ek het nou, we did this in the trial exam. It was already there as well, né? So the first thing that I want you to see there, let's run through the code. There is a closing LI missing. There is a closing LI missing. So that closing LI is the first one. And then look carefully at the others as well. We have the recycling here, shorts and opening, closing OL. This is the multiple level list. See, there we go. And then here also a closing LI. So you must go through, literally, you must actually go through the whole list. And then here shorts and opening LI. And there shorts, a closing LI, and there shorts and opening LI. Here. So you must go through the whole list and see if the list items is in there. Let's see if it works. We still have there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ne? So what do we short here? OL. Let's see if it works if we insert an OL there. Like I said, here we do trial and error. Doesn't work. Shorts and closing OL. Let's see. There we go. Done. Let's see in the example. We have there, you see it only gives us a portion of it. You can see there it is, there's another mistake here somewhere. Practices, that LI should not be closed here. That it must be, sorry, ek moet net gou kyk, it is promoting practices. This should be part of the previous one. This one must not have anything here. Green practices. That's H, and there we go. So there's quite a couple of things that you have to do here with the multiple level list. Just quickly. Here I open up the level 1. There I close level 1. Ne? But because that is level 1, this must be A, B, C, D, and then here it must carry on E, F, G. Yeah, it must carry on here. What is important for me here is that you see this is the second level. So there is the first level, opening, close, and there we have I. That is the second level that you must open. Okay? Right, and that is the HTML. It's 5 marks that you should be able to get. I'm going to give you back your screens. You can try and do that quickly for me.